I am Sumana Saha. I am here to present a topic which is a very, very attractive at this moment, a software development department, which is a test-driven development. And I'm here to talk about something about the TDD and how we can do it and everything. My name is Sumana Saha, and I am a software engineer. I work at Ratepay GmbH. It is located in Berlin, but basically I am from India, and I have done my bachelor's. Currently, I'm doing my master's in software engineering. I'm really passionate about clean code and writing microservices and various type of programming and stuff like that. So if you're really interested to talk to me, you can just ping me in any kind of social media like LinkedIn. I have Twitter, I have. So after the session I can share my contact details as well, so you can happily share a connection request to me. A fun fact about me that I'm a very much a cat lover person, and not so fun fact, it's like I'm a perfectionist. That is like sometimes it's difficult to mitigate my own expectations. So it's really the quality I have right now. Okay, and now what is the agenda for today? First of all, I would like to ask you that, do you anybody have experience with TDD, or do you know what is actually a TDD a lot? If you can just drop a message, it will be really beneficial for me to understand, like, do you have any idea what is it and how to do it and stuff like that. Thank you, Irina, for writing yes. So I think you have the understanding. Yeah, Kari as well. So today I can share the rules, and I would like to show a simple very simple way to write the test cases using TDD and how we can actually do it. And so don't I mean without wasting any time, this agenda is like, I'll talk about a history, I'll talk about what are the connection with Agile, I'll talk about a practical approach, then the pros and cons, what people say about TDD, and then some useful resources you can look up to later on. Okay, first of all, what is TDD? TDD means that the abbreviation stands for trace driven development, and how it works. First, we write test. That means what exactly we write test? There is a requirement. Let's say you are asked to do for example phone number validation. So what exactly you do? So you first start with writing tests. So in a traditional way, as a developer, I have seen the other side of the picture, that we tend to write the productive code. But no, here in this approach, we will write the test first. So what will happen? So when we'll write test, it will show us a lot of errors. The test will fail because there is no productive codes are written. Then we will go to write the productive code. So now, when the productive code is written, the I would say very simplest, like just to pass the test case. Then we run the test case, then it passes. Now we go to the test class again to refactor the test, and then we see the test is keep passing. That means whatever productive code we have written is good to go. Then again we write more test, then suddenly the tests are failing, and then we go to the productive code. This is the back and forth process, is actually the main essence of the test TDD practice. So it is not a I would say a theoretical topic. It's very much hands-on, and we should really like to. I mean, we should all try to do at least once how exactly it works. And today I'll show a real life code example for my previous example, which is the phone number validation, for explaining how exactly it works. A brief history. So it is like not that we are talking about TDD very soon, I mean, or very recently. It already originated in 20th century, and initially it was named as a test first development. But in 2003, Mr. Kent Beck, who is an American software engineer, he actually coined the term as test driven development stuff. So he is the person who wrote many books on that, and there are also great work by him on this area. Nevertheless, let's move forward. Apart from the history, we have the Agile Connection. So why people always tie these two words together, Agile and TDD? Because Agile tells us that every requirements are changing constantly, and we should be able to keep that development up so that we can provide the softwares according to the need. So it is called an incremental development process. It is a methodology. It is not that it's a one time thing and one project is done, that's it, finished. It is a practice, like we do many practices in our life. For example, we get up every day, we brush our teeth, and so on, so on and so forth. So this is also a practice that we also follow in terms of software development process. So what TDD provides in this agile picture, it actually provides a quality development technique. That is, when a software is written, or the way software is written, how the quality is assured. This is a technique always, I mean it is supposedly to be used in this agile methodology, but all the developers are not always all the time doing that. We will see why and why not. Another point is like the test case analysis should always be done before the writing of the test cases. I have showed a small picture of a penguin. He is Kowalski. If you know the animations movie Madagascar, he is also a character from the movie. So he is always and doing the analysis. It's a very, very crucial part when we are actually writing the test cases and talking about the test cases and so on and so forth. Then when we are talking about agile, always we are thinking in a way that how we can produce a minimum viable product within a sprint. So when I talk about sprint, I talk about a framework, for example Scrum or Kanban, and etc. So it's always like to provide a software which is doing the happy path, and which is using the TDD. And this is a great approach to actually see a problem and provide a solution. Working software is a primary measure of the progress, and the TDD is actually provides the incremental developments, which always goes hand in hand with agile. Here, this is the point where we would like to go for in-depth, like a turning point where we will see soon the real life problems and how we actually write test cases. So here, moving forward, the practical approach. So the rules, there are rules. This is something like we should follow the guideline and then we jump to write the test cases. It is not that always we think, okay, this is the test, how I should write it, and blah and blah. We have rules. The first rule is we have to write a single unit that is describing the aspect of a program. For example, I mentioned phone number validator. We are not talking about the whole project. We are talking about a particular feature. That feature is provided or covered with unit test. So here we shall start writing a unit test. When the test is failing, obviously we have not written any productive code, the program will fail. Now we will just write enough code to pass the test. Then we will refactor. This is also known as red green refactor. You have seen many books and many posters. This is what is red green refactor. That means when we write a test, it will fail. We write the productive code, it will pass. Then we go in a refactoring mode to provide more functionality and better test coverages. So this is a back and forth approach, and it follows in a circle. Now obviously we have to repeat so that we know how exactly it is happening. Let's look at a real life problem. Before that, we have to use some tools to write test driven development. I am using Java. You can use any language, but I have seen that most libraries are available for this unit test cases with Java are really good. For example, Mockito is one, JUnit 5 is one. I'm using IntelliJ IDEA because I feel it has a lot of great, I would say, test library support, and the overview is really nice, and look and feel is nice, and a lot of cool tips and tricks are there. I'm using Spring Pearl project with Maven right now to show you the example. You can use any other build tool like Gradle and etc. So it is up to you what you would like to use, but this is a demo where I'm using this options to show you right now. And just let's look some real codes here. So what you are seeing an application which has a name TDD Java example application, which I created with Spring Boot, and it has a bare minimum, just a structure, nothing is written. So this class you are looking at, it is the main class of the Spring Boot application. And now going forward, I will try to show you how we can start the practice TDD here. So we would like to start with a test class. So as I mentioned that I would like to cover the phone number validation function. So I have created a package in this project structure. You can see both the productive part and the test part. So you see the productive part is written in the main and the test part is written in the test sub package. So this is a clear separation for any Maven projects if you are starting on. Then I would like to create a class. I have created selected a name called phone number validator test, and now my class is ready. So here I have written a goal because it gives me a clarity what I am going to do here. And my goal is to create a phone number validator function. So now what I shall do, I shall write a method which is annotated with test. Here the test annotation is coming from the JUnit library. So you see the import org JUnit Jupyter API test. Here you see that I just mentioned only a name, that test underscore phone number validation function. It has nothing. So ideally it should pass because I haven't provided anything at all. As you see, when I am running the application, I see the test is passed. Now, I have to obviously, this is not my goal just to write a blank test. I have to provide a phone number validation function. So how to do that? I have created a phone number validator object. So here you see that there is no phone number validator at all present in my project. So I would like to, so either in this situation, my test is failing because you see there is a red mark in IntelliJ is telling you that nowhere it is present. So my test is failing here. So now I would like to create the validator class. Where I should create in the productive section, which is a main. So you see the target directory is very important here, that you should choose the main, not the test. Going forward, I have a phone number validator class, but it has nothing. So my code should do nothing. I mean, the test is actually doing nothing. Now to move forward, what I should do, I should refactor the test and to provide the validation function and try to see whether my test is passing or failing. And you see that I have created a setup method to provide a new instance of this object. And what is actually doing, the annotation before each, it is actually setting the stage before running the test. So every method is annotated with test. It will look where the before each is located and it will try to get the settings, configuration, blah blah, and then try to run the test. So here I would like to create a new instance and then like to run the test. That's the reason I created a new instance in the setup method. And this is a general standard that you should write the name setup. It's not like whatever configure or etc. So this is a very up to the date approach, like you should write that way. Then then I would like to refactor the test method. What I should do, so the general process of writing test is you should provide a test data, you should do something, that means you should call your productive method and then you compare the results. So here the good practices are like you should like do given when then. This is a very I would say cool approach to write or structure the test method in that way, given when then approach. So here I have given a phone number, test data, whatever be it. Now in the when section, I would like to validate the test data. But when I'm calling the function validate, you see that it is read that IntelliJ cannot recognize that what exactly the validate is for. So it is throwing an error. So what I should do now, I should go to the productive class, which is a phone number validator class, and then create this method. So here am I have done that. So I have by default set it as return true. You can set as anything, like as I have return type true or false. You can set anything. So here, as my productive code says, whatever string I'm giving in this function, I will return true. Let's look at the test class and see whether this test is passing or not. I'm sure it will pass because I have nothing concrete validation written here. So like you have seen that I have added the when part. Now I have to add in the then part. So what I'm writing in the then part, like I'm just trying to get the actual result and expectation. So here this is a very standard notation to get the method or the variable name. Like here what I have used is actual should be used where you are expecting something and you are I mean not expecting, you are trying to measure the data, the result. So you call the actual when the productive method is actually calling something, I mean giving you some data, and then you are asserting the actual to test the data. So the assert I mean statement is actually trying to get whether the actual is true or not, but in this case it will be true because I have nothing in the productive code. So I will run the application and then my test is passing. Okay, now this is not an end. Our main goal is to create a phone number validator function. This is not that this is a something like a structure or a base I have created. Now what? Now I have added a functionality, which is the phone number should be greater than the size of the phone number should be greater than 10. If not, it will return false. If yes, it will return true. Now let's look at the existing code base, existing test code, and try to understand whether it shall pass or not. So according to my test case, if I run it, it will pass because I have already given a phone number which is more than 10 characters. So it's totally fine here. But it is nothing end here. So what are the good thing and bad thing for way of writing this methods or this test cases, which is we are not here to only checking that which are passing, which are I mean only passing here. So we are here to see how many, I mean what are the invalid test data and how we can mix and match data and provide input and then test. Now I would like to provide some invalid test data. Let's say my test data is having less than length is less than 10, and what I have done that I have added a invalid test data. I have added a when section where my actual test data are actually validating. It is the method, the variable name is actual for invalid test data, and then I am here asserting it. So what will happen? Ideally it should also pass because I am asserting it to false. That means it is correct, my test is correct, that it is not a valid phone number. Let's see. Yes, it is passing. And now we are in a stage like we shall always go to the productive code and refactor and then come back to the test code and keep on trying running the test so that we can get the idea of how exactly the code should look like and how the method should look like. It is not that we are just writing, I mean, huge set of functionalities before in the productive class and then try to mix and match test classes. So we are always here not to write garbage code. We should follow the clean code principle, that how much is needed we should write that, nothing extra. So it will help all developers to save their time to debug and whatever manual testing and everything. So here it is a very, I would say, effective tool to start with development in this way. Let's move forward now. So now I would like to do something, like I have given a new test data which has something like, I would like to see the whether my productive code shall handle this kind of data or not, like without country code. So I have not given any country code, I just give any simple data. Now what I'd like to do, I have done when, that means what my phone number validator should provide me as a result, and then I shall assert it as a true. So as of now I expect it should be also true, that means it is valid. But actually in ideal case it is not valid. That is our failure, that this, in this situation like this, whenever this point like wrong data is getting true, that is a bug here, in our code. So to solve this case, we would like to go to the productive code and write the clause where the uh, phone number is starting with, let's say, +49 example. Just a simple example. If yes, then only I shall pass, otherwise not pass. Moving forward, here I have just said that when I have a phone number which is not started with +49, so it shall provide me, I would say, the validation which is false. Okay. What I can say, that I missed to add one screenshot where this one, that the assert, the without country code is true, is failing. So here the point is, what I missed, that when I run this code, I will see that my test cases are failing. And to make good, or to make it pass, I have to go to the productive code and add the functionality, and then if I go to the test cases and then run, I should be seeing that the code is getting executed properly, when without any error. So maybe I will update my, I would say, PPT later on and can share. But this is the goal, where we should do that, keep on refactoring the productive code and trying on test, and then back and forth option. So this is the main essence of the TDD in the real life. But I would say this is a very, very simple program. I'm pretty sure that you are doing, or anybody has TDD experience, has a lot of great features and everything. So I would be really happy that, yeah, if you could share your experiences writing test classes and stuff like that with a more complex structure and so on and so forth. So it will be great discussion for us here in a I'd say in a software development area. Nevertheless, so now I would like to share some pros and cons for TDD. So let's start with the pros, which is like it is a very efficient tool to find errors and the problems. The thing is, like, as I showed, that the phone number has without country code, I know that my code has not implemented anything, so I know the test should fail. This is the fail fast approach. That means we know the test is failing, I understand, so now I will make the better code so that the test is passing, and write just enough code, not super extra or stuff like that. For doing the TDD, it is required to knowledge for internal software under test, which is beneficial, and it is actually for thorough testing. We know that it helps us always finding hidden errors. And always say that, like, whenever we have this kind of validation methods, it's really really helpful for all the developers who are following this approach, because we think where the problem occurs, where will be validation fail. So that is a great tool here. Now, programmer introspection is something like, always we as a programmer, we look for, when we have our detective eye in terms of debugging the code, writing the code, but nevertheless here we are always providing a lot of great introspective view in terms of the TDD perspective. It always great tool to optimize our code. That means I mentioned that we are here a fan of clean code, not extra code we should write and stuff like that. And there are internal knowledge is required, so that we should provide the maximum code coverage. Now I'd like to share some negative part of the TDD, which is that, who as a developer, let's say newbie who has joined a team, he or she needs to provide, or I mean needs to get the code access. Then it requires high level knowledge of internal architecture, how exactly a software is working. Then the test cases are really tightly coupled to the implementation details, and then sometimes it fails for like unwanted test failures when the code is refactored. And also that it is might, I mean, the negative part is sometimes it is missing the feature. That means unimplemented code has not been found or seen in this approach. So there should be somewhere good documentation, so we can provide that these are the found use cases are provided, and then people can actually start this, follow this TDD approach, and then coding. Now, moving forward, I would like to share some user survey. That means what people think about this approach, and how it is, how much accepted is this approach by a software developer community. As you see that this TDD approach is actually, is having a lot of matrices. That means whiteboarding, like how we are thinking to draw a use case, something like that. How the diagram, or there are a lot of tools which are provides diagrams, UML tooling and stuff like that. So how it can help us. Then text based approach, and then electronic approach, and then modeling tools. So every aspect it has there its presence. And in my experience I have seen that not everyone is very much fan of TDD. There is a reason, is like they, I mean, as a developer we would need to think everything first, then write the code. It is difficult, I mean, it is difficult sometimes, but I think that it is great opportunity to start. Why not? Because we will face no debugging at all. That means normally when a software is running we have bugs, so always we need to debug the software to find the bugs and stuff like that. So here we shall like never ever find a bug if we try to follow this approach. And it's really difficult at beginning, but I can share from my experience, it is very beneficial when you are already hands on. And initially it is tough, and I'd say you should take guidance and you should read proper documentations, and maybe you can share, look some videos and stuff like that. I have some resources and books to share. So there are two books I would refer. First one is test driven development with Java, and the second one is the by the inventor, who is Ken Beck. And these two books are really good, but sometimes books are a little bit boring because they are all we have to read and then code. But nevertheless, there is a video course very helpful, which is Clean Code with Java. Learn simple design and refactoring and TDD, which is done by in 28 minutes official in Udemy. You can get it. It is not free, unfortunately, but you can get it in 10 euro or something, or any other currency when it is sale, because it is really useful. Then the blog, I followed this blog from Martin Fowler. He's a like renowned software engineer, and he has done a great work in this software engineering development perspective. So you can look up this kind of resources for more information and stuff like that. And if you like to like join me in any discussion with TDD, I'm really happy to help you out. And I'm really open. I am sharing my GitHub and LinkedIn addresses, so that you can, if you would like, you can connect with me, and for the future, yeah, references, for example. This is my LinkedIn profile, this is my GitHub profile, I'm sharing just right now. And yeah, I'll share this presentation and this code base in GitHub after the conference. And yeah, if you feel that there is a, yeah, you'd like to connect, you can connect anytime. I will be really happy to join you. And now it's your turn, and I will be answering all your questions. So first of all, it's the stage is yours. If you have any questions, let me know, and how you feel about this presentation also let me know. If you feel that there is a improvement, chances of improvement also, please let me know. I'll surely work on those topics. So yeah, now the stage is yours. Please let me know your questions. I'm looking at the chat, and unfortunately, I can't see any questions. So yeah, I will wait for some time. Yeah, this is awkward silence. I believe that everyone is very busy or maybe looking at other conferences. I'm sure there are great conference topics and stuffs. So just you can just put like at least some comments that what exactly you felt. Yes, Zalak, you can get the recording for the session. I think it will be available in a month or so, because there are a lot of sessions, and the Women Tech Network team, they are working really hard to provide the recordings via YouTube link. So it is public. For example, you can go in the Women Tech Network YouTube channel, and you can find the last year's old conference topic. So this is the YouTube channel. You can go and you can see there are already uploaded sessions. Thank you, Matsia. And I would, yeah, I'm really happy that you felt that the topic is really clear to you. So if you like, you can connect, or yeah, I'm really happy if you feel that is this topic and my presentation is useful for you. It's really great. Thank you, Zalak. Thank you so much for your comment, and thank you, Rimal. And yeah, it's very nice to see you joining my session. And yeah, it's really nice. Thank you very much, everyone.